medical school as well. They don't want that. They want you to demonstrate that you've explored the field, that you're familiar with it, you've done your research, you know the realities, you know, if you take medicine, what's going on with all the different legal issues related to medicine. So that's thing number one. Number two is that you want to think about what you're presenting in your application for grad school as a platter, and they want to see well-rounded applicants. So people who are demonstrating leadership, they're involved in other activities, they get really good grades. Those grades still really matter, but just also that you're a well-rounded applicant. For some students, they spend a lot of time studying, which is really important, but they might not have some of those other extracurricular activities to help round out their application. For transfer students, it's a little bit easier because most of you have been involved in many things, and so you have a lot to put on your application. And then we have another department that completely helps you with preparing your application, and they have, in fact, our grad school information day fair. You might have seen the posters around. Is next Tuesday, so we have a fair specific for people who are going to be applying to grad school. So a lot of resources to help you with that. And it's a common path here at Davis that many people attend grad school. So it's a common conversation that goes on with your instructors, that goes on with your different advisors. So people have a lot of familiarity with that. Yeah.
So the Internship and Career Center, it seems like they help you find external employment opportunities, but what if like I wanted to work in a biology professor's lab or something like?
So we actually, all of the on-campus jobs go through our department as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so we do both. And there's a difference between a paid position and a non-paid position. Sometimes if you take like the biology professor, you might have to volunteer in the lab for a little bit to show some of the skills that you have, and then they might be able to find you a paid opportunity. But we can help coach you on that, as well as how to help guide you through those conversations with those instructors. And then there are other positions that are paid that are online. You just might have to have a two-tiered approach depending on that, because it depends on the funding for that faculty person, if they have enough funding to pay an undergraduate for that. But there is a huge push on our campus for student jobs. And so many departments hire a lot of students. Within our own department, we have 30 students who work within our department. There's other departments on campus that have hundreds of students that work in their department. It just depends on needs. So there are a lot of job opportunities on campus. And actually, when students graduate, Davis is the #1 employer for Davis students. So they enjoy being here to the point where they get employed after they graduate. You also can stay employed on campus for 1 quarter after you graduate, so that also partially skews the data, because a lot of students will stay for an additional quarter because they have a student job, and then they'll leave after graduation, or after the summer. So. Other questions? We're a nice distance for home for many of you. You can make it home in the Bay Area, an hour and a half. We have many students who also do that. You probably know, I'm sure many of you know at least one UC Davis student. So many students come from the Bay Area. We recently were looking at our numbers in terms of where jobs are, where the students go after they graduate. So if they're not working on campus, many students either go to the Bay Area or to LA. Those are where our highest number of jobs are. But we have many students who also stay within the Central Valley or go all over the country. We have a new trend that I've noticed where many students are actually going to DC to go work after they graduate. I personally wish I had gone to live in DC for a couple of years after I graduated. It's a very, I think, interesting area. So that's another thing that many students are doing. I should tell you about 2 more programs too, actually 3 more programs. We have a program called the UC Sacramento program. So if you have interest in working in law or policy or within the governmental system, we have classes, a whole internship program in Sacramento, as well as a similar program in Washington, D.C. And there's actually a UC house in DC where students go and they stay in this big, tall, high-rise building, and they take classes and they all have an internship. So those are 2 kind of coastal area internships. And then we have other internships within other kind of federal or state agency departments as well. So lots and lots of different